This video is sponsored by PotownStore.com, the best place to get yourself some TCGO code cards. Whether you're looking for that last card to complete your online deck or just to get the latest booster packs in town, they literally have everything, and you can use the coupon code ZapDoesTCG for 5% off on your complete order. Then there's also Cardmarket.com. This is a European platform where you're able to buy and sell cards to people all across Europe. I personally use it every single day to get rid of cards that I don't need, to get the cards that I really need for competitive tournaments. Also, this video is sponsored by YourPlaymat.com. This is a website to create your own custom playmat. Ideal for the new season. Upload your favorite wallpaper or unique logo and they turn it into a beautiful playmat. You can get 10% off by clicking the link down below, and they ship worldwide, so definitely check it out. Last but certainly not least is DragonShield.com. There are links down below for Europe and US people all alike, and you're going to be able to, of course, buy sleeves, binders, and deck boxes, which, of course, Dragon Shield is the best brand out there to protect those beautiful cards. The sleeves are very good. As you can see, they shuffle really well, and I definitely recommend everybody getting a couple of these sleeves. Thanks for sticking around with the commercials, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace! Sup YouTube, it's ZapDoesTCG here, and welcome back to another TCG video on my channel. On this channel you get daily Pokemon TCG content, so be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. I'm here to inform everybody that TrainerHill.com has added a new feature into their meta analysis. Of course, TrainerHill takes all the data from all the tournaments played over at play.limitlesstcg.com and turns it into a beautiful way you can see what matchup spread you have with your favorite deck. So this time around they added the tier list, and we're going to be doing an updated tier list for the Salt Lake City Regionals as well as the Lille Regionals. I'll be attending the Lille Regionals next weekend, but this weekend is the Salt Lake City Regionals, and you guys should be a little bit up to date because my tier list prediction video that I did like 2 months ago is a little bit outdated, and now we have full knowledge of what the meta actually is, with Lost Origin being legal for a lot of weeks already. So hopefully you guys are excited for this video. If you are, be sure to let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. And also, as a little disclaimer, this is my personal opinion in combination with tournament results. So we're going to be blending them in together, and things will be alright that way. But if your opinion is totally different, be sure to let me know what you will put in tier S, tier A, B, C, etc. in the comments below, and let's get a discussion started. So without further ado, let's just get things straight at the get-go and say that Giratina, there's two versions of Giratina, but the Giratina Lost Zone engine box, the one that uses Comfy, the one that can utilize Sableye, Snorlax, whatever it is, this is actually tier S in my opinion because it has so many capabilities. You might say, like I'm actually just debating on to put it on tier S or tier A, but in this situation I've seen a lot of lists. You can adapt it in the form to just beat everything, right? It's very difficult to be countering Giratina because it can come out of nowhere with a Torton. It can actually wait until the late game to appear, but with of course the Comfy engine and of course it having a lot of answers for the current meta game, you can one-shot anything with the Star Requiem VSTAR power. Just one-shot anything. You could utilize the Lost Impact to just slap 280 out of the get-go, not even needing Choice Belt to KO most of the threats in the meta game. You have early game pressure with Cramorant. In the late game you can get some KOs with Sableye. There is of course other attackers like the Snorlax that I mentioned, which is very good to slap 180. You can add in Drapion for your new matchup. I think Giratina deserves its spot in the tier S category. Yeah, that's right. I'm putting it here because I've tested Giratina a lot, and it actually is very insane to play. I know it takes a lot of skill. This is a high skill deck because you will need to use Colorless and then Comfy and have of course a lot of resource management, because if you throw something in the Lost Zone, you're never getting it back. If you want to see all of these decks in action, I tested all of these out on the channel before. Go check them out in the deck battle video segment. There is a playlist of course where you can check out all these decks in action. So that is my tier S one. Another tier S fella that I'm going to be putting here as well is Palkia Inteleon not going anywhere. Palkia Inteleon is such an established deck, and it's almost the exact 60 that a lot of people are piloting right now. They are now playing Big Charms to protect themselves from evil Giratinas here and there. We of course see that some people grab to the 70 HP Subble, which makes sense because Sableye is kind of a threat, and you do want to have a Subble on your bench in the late game, so that does make sense. Manaphy is also included in here for Radiant Greninja Snipes because the Giratina Lost Zone box, I did not even talk about that, is also playing Water Energy, so Radiant Greninja Snipes can come out of like the best decks in the format. So yeah, if you are playing like a budget deck, you're gonna get slapped away by these powerful tier S decks because they literally have everything. The Palkia Inteleon deck is running Battle VIP Pass 4 copies. The Giratina Lost Zone deck is playing 4 Battle VIP Pass, so Battle VIP Pass has proven itself in all the top decks. That is one of the best cards ever printed in this current age and time. So what else is the Palkia Inteleon strong for is of course Irida. Irida, finding yourself a water Pokemon instantly from the deck on top of an item card is going to be fantastic. You can get yourself Battle VIP Pass and get yourself started right from the get-go. You can get Radiant Greninja and Capacious Bucket. Depends what you have in the opening hand, but you can go wide with your board as early as turn 1, which is very, very great. And the Palkia Inteleon also doesn't have any weaknesses. You might be weak to lightning, but Flying Pikachu hasn't been that dominant as of late because the meta is just so big right now that not a lot of people are teching for Palkia anymore, which is very good in that sense. I know like Reggie with Regigigas can slap you, but you could of course either you run the Tool Jammer or you're in the Big Charm to protect yourself to just get in one-hit KO. So there's a lot of great things that could happen, like the Regigigas is of course a threat, but the Big Charm doesn't help, but the Big Charm helps against Tina, so you have to metagame a little bit here and there. But Palkia Inteleon literally can't do anything because it has the easiest time to find Roxanne. You can just Drizzle for any trainer card you want, and with Irida you find a Drizzle, you find something else, and you can just find everything in the deck. Whether you're looking for that Echoing Horn to just put something on the opponent's bench, whether you're looking for the Big Chump to protect yourself from Giratina, or if you're looking for the Cross Switchers to target something down on top of utilizing Melanie, anything is possible with the Shady Dealings engine. It's one of the few decks that still utilizes the Shady Dealings engine. Like in the past there was like so many Inteleon decks. Now probably the only, if you see Subble, you can like say 90% of the time it is going to be that Palkia deck. Moving forward, Lost Zone box is going to be the deck that Tord Reckless piloted at the Peoria Regionals. I'm gonna say tier A because Tord played a very, very consistent 60, but was not tacked out. It didn't have Choice Belt, didn't have Galarian Zigzagoon, and I think this list will definitely be tacked against. We will see the Snorlaxes of the world appear in Lost Zone boxes. We will see, of course, decks like the Empoleon strategy did not work. And Peoria, that was a huge flop. Empoleon did not do the job, and Lost Zone box was actually prepared with a lot of Path to the Peak in the list, but with a lot of tanking decks like Blizzy has come out of the woodworks, Goodra has come out of the woodworks. I think Lost Zone box just belongs in tier A, and it's also kind of difficult to be piloting because you have to place all your damage counters accordingly, and if you don't do it well enough, people could just use like a healing card. I've seen people use Hyper Potion and Mew VMAX because the Mew DTE build is the preferred way of playing Mew VMAX. What else did we see? Mew started to play something like a Volo or Switch card. Blizzy is playing Hyper Potions. There's Goodra. I think this deck is very, very great, but when it gets stacked against, and it's now public enemy number 1, it's going to go down to tier A. You can still tack it as you want. You can add in the Zero Aura if you want. You can add in the Radiant Greninja over the Radiant Zarot. It all depends on how you want to be playing it, but Comfy Sableye is strong. It has, of course, the quickness of course, Colress, Comfy, Switch, and you have a lot of cards in the Lost Zone, so you can attack with Cramorant, with Sableye. You can use Mirage Gate if you want to be making a tacky version of the Lost Zone box, but you're better off playing Giratina if you're doing that. So yeah, Lost Zone box, tier A. Then we're going to be talking about the Blizzy here, the Blizzy of the world, tier B. For me, Blizzy here actually is way better than people give it credit for. I know it's a very easy deck to pilot because the only thing you can do is like Radiant Greninja, get rid of your cards, then slap down Path, and then utilize, of course, a research, and then get an energy onto Blizzy and start swinging, right? So, and the more energies Blizzy comes back with, the more damage it does with the Blissful Blast, slapping huge damage. The cool thing I find with Blizzy is that with the Cape of Toughness, you have 300 HP, and of course, when Giratina is not having the Choice Belt, they will not KO you with Lost Impact. They can still evaporate you with the Star Requiem, but if they don't find their Choice Belt, the Blizzy will survive. They could be playing Lost Vacuum. That is true, but because the fact like people will be maybe running a Lost Vacuum to counter Big Parasol, but Blizzy is just a strong deck. It does what it does. I actually played it in the team challenge just the other day, and I actually got like 3rd place, so it was not too bad, the Blizzy deck. It is having great matchups across the board and also comes packed with Miltank. Miltank is one of those very annoying cards that it cannot get damaged by V Pokemon, and there are archetypes here in this tier list that only run on V Pokemon. Think about Hisuian Zoroark, think about something like a Dialga, or maybe even think about Goodra. They don't want to be seeing Miltank, and if they are not coming back with an answer for Miltank, you just have easy dubs. That's why Miltank is such a great card in Blizzy. And you might even go as high as 3 copies. So here on the number B spot, yeah, tier B, Blizzy. And then we're going to be talking about, let's say we're going to be talking about tier D. Let's see here. Is there any tier D here? I think Arc Intel can... I don't know. Arc Intel, I'll put it in tier C for now. I don't even know if there's a tier D for any of these decks because I only selected the best deck. So that makes it hard. Let's just scratch tier D entirely. There's no tier D deck for me personally. So let's see. Arc Intel is now coming down to the bottom here. Tier C for the deck just because like there's a lot of one-hit KO potential. There is... the Kyurem that can one-shot you. There's the Giratina that can one-shot you. If you're not coming back with Dunsparce, the Regigigas can one-shot you. There is Zoroark, Hisuian Zoroark that can one-shot you. So there are so many things that could go wrong, and a lot of healing decks like Arceus, Goodra, and Blizzy also have a great time. So it's not great in today's meta, unfortunately. You could be packing it with the Radiant Gardevoir V and also with Big Parasol, but I think most Tina lists will already have answers to Big Parasol. So you're not going to be going anywhere. I think Arc Intel is not the right time for Arc Intel. Moving forward, let's talk about Reggie in the house, putting it on the same tier as Blizzy. Maybe even higher, like in the high end of tier B, because Regigigas on paper beats a lot of decks, but it comes back with consistency issues. Sometimes you have the opening hands. Boss, Ordinary Rod, Pat, and you say like, haha, please help me. And that's what the deck is not loving. Regigigas also has a little bit of a hard time against Lost City, let's be honest. Lost cities in the world can cause you a lot of trouble. There's also the high amount of Avery in the Blizzy deck, and even Palk Intel can win if they Roxanne at the correct time while cross-switching the one that doesn't have gift energy. So it's tier B for now, but in the hands of a master player, it can actually become better. We did see in Peoria a lot of top players opted to go for Reggie. They didn't even go into the top 8, so that makes me think like, is the deck even worth retrying or reconsidering? Because there's a lot of options available in this meta. I'll leave it up to you. Regigigas is a great deck, but it has, it's like the, people call it the Greninja break of the format, where on paper you beat everything until you start playing with it, and then you're starting to brick. And as soon as you brick, you cannot afford to brick in regionals because you need to have that score of 6-1 to advance to day 2. If in an ideal world where you're never bricking, Regigigas can beat everything, but unfortunately that is not the case. Moving forward, let's talk about, I'll talk about Arc Flank Pika. I'll put it here on the tier C as well, because of the fact that Flank Pika, like, it has its heydays, right? It won the World Championships. How is it all the way back here in tier C? Let me just enlighten you about the fact. Like, there's way more archetypes in today's metagame, right? Flying Pikachu typically countered the Palkia deck and the Regigigas deck, right? We do see that those are still two great decks. The problem we see here is that Giratina can evaporate you instantly. The Lost Stone box can spread so much damage around, and if you don't find your chair and scare in time, it's gonna be bad. You also have, of course, the ways that Goodra and Blizzy can out-heal you, and there's a lot of one-hit KO potential with Kyurem as well. So I'll put it in tier C for now, although Marnie Path is still strong. Don't get me wrong, Marnie Path can win games, but the pure power force that Flying Pikachu once had to just, I see a lot of Palkias here and there, is no longer the case, because even though Palkia Intel is still the best deck in the format, you probably won't see a meta share over 20% anymore. So Flying Pika for me, tier C. Moving forward, Dialga also tier C for me. because of the fact that there's way better archetypes out there. Dialga also uses the engine of Comfy, so it gets caught in the crossfire that people want to tech against Comfy engines with stuff, for instance, like the Empoleons, which is super annoying. Also, Dialga can of course use Mirage Gate, use Metal Sulfur and all that shenanigans, but I still think it is lackluster, to be honest, because let's say you set yourself up with Dialga, take a KO on Comfy, take a KO on something else, because people can wait with Giratina to get it out, right? So what they can potentially do is, of course, wait until the time is ready to then Torch on into the Giratina V, instantly evolve, and then one-shot your Dialga V-Star. Even though Dialga V-Star would have taken like 2 prize cards, by the time that happens, there has been like some Cramorant slapping around one of your own Comfies, and there's also the capabilities of like Sableye spreading damage. So I personally don't think it's that great, even though it's still a deck in today's meta. Moving forward, let's just talk about Kyurem Palkia, tier A for me. It was the most played deck in Peoria during day 1, and that was a high percentage, to be honest. People were really loving the Kyurem Palkia, even though like in Japan, people are not playing a lot of Kyurem Palkia, they prefer the Palkia Inteleon. But yeah, Kyurem is strong. Yeah, of course, have that crazy ability to accelerate in energy. If you're discarding the top card of your deck and if it's an energy, you can manipulate that with stuff like Oranguru and Rotom Phone. You have access to, this is the easiest deck to just get 2 Empoleons fit in to just counter all the Lost Zone engine decks. And you also come back with, of course, Palkia. Not only is the Palkia very, very strong, as we've come to know, you can also utilize the Palkia to accelerate the energies onto Kyurem after you utilized an attack. The deck is still weak against Roxanne Path, and that's my only concern, putting it here on tier A, because Roxanne Path is the biggest weakness of a deck like this. And also, as a fun fact, people say like, oh yeah, why would you play like, you only play like 0 Empoleon or 2 Empoleon, but 1 Empoleon is still great to, of course, have an answer against Miltank, so don't forget about that. Moving forward, Arc Goodra, a solid tier B deck. The Arc Goodras came out of the woodworks over in Peoria. Even 2 of them managed to get into top 16. The Goodra deck is very similar to Duraludon, and yeah, it is going to be a tanky deck. You have Crystal Cave to heal, Hyper Potion to heal, and Arceus is going to be able to set up your Goodra V-Star. If this deck does have 2 V-Star abilities, so use them wisely. If you don't have your great start, use Star Birth. If you have everything you need, you just draw Raw into the DTE and stuff. Don't use Star Birth and instead rely on the Moisture Star ability, allowing you to, of course, heal up Goodra V-Star instantly. You're gonna have Big Jump to have more HP, and you also have, of course, Big Parasol to protect yourself from Star Requiem, but on the counter side, you also have yourself an out against Regi. So, a very great deck, but it has bricking capabilities. And it seems like tier B is a very, very great decks, but they all brick a lot. So that's the problem with the tier B decks. The tier C decks, they are not finding their way in the meta right now. Tier A decks do have, of course, ways to win tournaments, but are, of course, can get heavily tacked against here and there. And also, yeah, this is just my personal opinion. Moving forward, Mew Genesect, I'll be putting that in tier A. Mew Genesect for me is almost tier S. It would have been tier S if Drapion V was not a card. Drapion V is the only thing that can slap Mew all the way from the S tier to the A tier. And the problem with that is that there's no specific counter. Just Drapion just annihilates a Mew VMAX, and you don't even need energies to do it. Although, yeah, Mew now runs 1 Path and 1 Roxanne of their own. The problem I see here is that you don't get it in time, and yeah, the Drapion can also get recovered by a lot of things. They could be playing Lost City, but then you would need Roxanne Path and Lost City at the same time to just get the Drapion out of there, and yeah. Anyhow, Drapion is a great card and will be utilized. Sometimes I see it in Kyurem Palkia, sometimes I see it in Giratina. I even saw it once in the Palkia deck. So Drapion is an answer. You say like, oh, my Mew matchup, I don't want to practice against it. I'm just gonna attack in one specific card to deal with that matchup and you're good to go. So putting it here on tier A. Then Arc Giratina is tier B. It's a little bit less good than I anticipated. I tested out Arc Giratina before, and the problem I found with it is that it is a little bit less fast than the Giratina with Lost Box engine, because that is able to just flick the V-Star token and instantly evaporate anything in the active, and the Arc Giratina can only slap 280. That could be a huge problem because sometimes you're up against, let's say, Mew VMAX, and you're only slapping 280, and they come back with Oricorio, so even the Choice Belt does not work, and then you're scratching your head like, well, this is gonna kind of bad. So The damage output is not always enough, the 280. Definitely, like, if you're up against a Goodra with a big charm, the same scenario. You need to just dig for that choice belt, and if you don't find it, yeah, I put it in tier B because any Arceus deck that has, of course, its great fittings in the metagame right now will be performing great. Giratina is a great card, and you can also still win games just by Arceus and Marnie stuff. Moving forward, Arceus Duraludon is for me tier C. It's like less good than Goodra. Why is that? Because Goodra, sometimes you could use Moisture Star. If you don't have to rely on Star Burst, you can use Moisture Star. You have also Melanie capabilities on the Goodra, so you can get the Goodra off as well. There's just attachment on the turn. The following turn, quick ball away, water energy, and you can immediately attack with Goodra VSTAR because you also have Melanie in the deck. And that's why I think it's better than Duraludon. Duraludon had its heydays with, of course, blocking special energies, but let's be honest. Regigigas is playing Path. Blizzy is playing Path. Even Mew is playing Path. There is Palkia playing Path. So they can all get to that ability. And now that I think about it, Duraludon with Skyscraper ability does not work against Palkia. Doesn't work against Giratina. Doesn't work against Kyurem. Lost Zone Box also. So even though Lost Zone Box is actually a great matchup, and depends on if they have the Radiance Art or not. But yeah. So Arceus Duraludon for me tier C. And then the last one in this current metagame and age is Hisuian Zoroark tier B as well. On the lower end though, because this deck is it's a beat stick, right? You can one-shot anything you want, but you want to be seeing two prizers. And if you're up against, like, you play Hisuian Zoroark and you're seeing Regis, it's like, you're seeing a Tina that is faster than you, that can instantly get two prizes. There's also a little bit, you also can, of course, get Marnie out of the game if you cannot set up your B-Barrel, and Marnie Path is strong because even though you have that great ability with Zoroark to just discard your hand, draw 7, that doesn't work under Path. So this is my current tier list for Lille as well as Salt Lake City. I wish everybody a lot of fun at Salt Lake City. I'll be watching the results because those are going to be impacting what's going to be coming up next in the format. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, but the video is still not done. If you're still already enjoying the video, let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. Helps out in ridiculous ways. But for now that we have the tier list out of the way, let's check out the matchup spread, shall we? Which of these decks has the best matchup spread? Big shout out to TrainerHill for, of course, having this fantastic website for us to just check out. This is the metagame right now, and what has a lot of, if you can see, the blue things, I don't know if you can see that perfectly, but the blue boxes are actually taking like you're doing okay. That's a favorable matchup. If they're becoming a little bit red, that means it's a terrible matchup. So as a little example, let's just take Kyurem Palkia. It is having, it actually has a favorable matchup against Regis, it seems, that because of the Empoleons, makes sense. What else do we have? Palk Intel is unfavored, by a little bit though. Then there is Mew Genesect, also unfavored, it seems. Its worst matchup for Kyurem Palkia is seeming to be Blizzy because of the high amount of Path, I think, and also Miltank. Yeah, Miltank just wins that game. So you can actually just pick your favorite deck and then see how you fare against specific decks. This is based on a lot of matches. Let's just say we're playing Palk Intel against a popular deck. Let's say, against Mew VMAX. There has been 504 matches recorded, and the Palkia Intel against Mew Genesect is 51.2% in the favor of Palk Intel. So very, very great knowledge. You can just see what your bad matchups are, to be honest. The worst matchup of Palk Intel is Blizzy. As seen here, its win rate is only 28%. So if you want to be beating, you can also just say, oh, I'm expecting Palkia Inteleon, and I am expecting, what else can we expect here? So Palkia Inteleon and Mew Genesect, which deck has the best matchups against both of these decks? You can see that. Let's see here. Which deck would that be? That both have unfavorables. Yeah, it's a little bit hard because Mew can technically win against everything. Maybe a better example would be Giratina. Hisuian Zoroark wins against that. Very funny enough. So you can just scout out a deck of your being, and even though you don't have to be taking these, take them with a grain of salt because not a lot of professional players are included in this data. So specific decks, like for instance, Palkia Inteleon against Regigigas seems to be like that. Regi is highly unfavored, but that's not true when you have the correct build and you know what you're doing. So don't always take it with a grain of salt. And yeah, that's just what I'm gonna be leaving you guys with. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what your favorite deck in the Lost Origin meta is right now in the comments below. Which deck will win Salt Lake City? Which deck will win Lille Regionals? I wanted to know all your opinions down below in the comments. Thank you for watching. Go check out our sponsors. There's of course PokemonStore.com, the best place for TCGO code cards. You can use the coupon code ZapdosTCG for a whopping 5% off your order. There is cardmarket.com for European players. You can use the referral name ZapdosTCG when, of course, buying cards. There's Dragon Shield for US and Europeans alike. You can just click the specific links down below. Buy sleeves, deck boxes, and binders. This is the best brand to protect your cards. I always utilize them still. Yeah, look at that. They even have the new RAF sleeve. I don't know if you can see them, but they are available and you can check them out using the links down below. Last but not least, yourplaymat.com. Create your custom playmat that you've always dreamed of. Your playmat shipped worldwide, and you can just upload your favorite wallpaper or your own unique logo or design, and they turn it into a beautiful playmat. That's just fantastic to just start playing in real life. Have yourself a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for more Pokemon TCG epic news. I'm out. Peace.